The hell?
I think we're live. I don't. Proto's here
We're live.
twice.
Apparently so. And we're live.
Okay, awesome. Right, welcome to another Master Tunes podcast. I'm your host, Jack Hayward.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Proto.
And I'm
Yep.
George, the guy that no one really cares for, and I appear in every podcast, but you have to deal with me.
No, I care about you, George.
Aw, thank you. Aren't you a sweetie?
On this show, we're going to be talking about the recent Cartoon Network pilots.
Hooray!
So, we're going to be talking about 12 Forever, Riding with Burgess, and a show called Jammers.
God,
So these were
damn
all these were all 10 minutes long. Were they released online, or was it TV, or both?
I think that, yeah, they were released online, I believe, on Cartoon Network's official website.
Yeah, I mean, I'm British, so I can actually watch them officially.
Oh,
So
sweet.
I did like a roundabout way of watching it. YouTube. So just a quick overview of what they're about. So 12 Forever. I mean, this is a flaw with all of them, actually, because none of them like actually fill you in and say what they're about. It's literally like you've just tuned into the middle of a season.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Like,
yeah,
the only one
12
I feel
Forever.
like that kind of explains what's kind of going on is probably Jammers, and I want to say 12 Forever, but even then, they barely give any real context to it.
Exactly. It's just a very quick intro, really, for the most part.
Yeah.
So 12 Forever seems to be about a girl and a boy who are at school, and the girl has like a magic key that can go into her imagination, but somehow they can sometimes cross over. It doesn't make much sense at all.
It's kind of like that, have any of you seen, like, the Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends TV movie, Destination Imagination?
No.
Oh, good TV movie for what it is. Basically, in that episode, it was this like magic chest that took the characters into this magical like kind of imaginary land, and I feel like I kind of got that kind of vibe from it, but I'm not sure like because I barely remember it, and I don't feel like it. It's kind of the same thing, but it did remind me of that. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. And then Riding with Burgess.
Is quite possibly the most unintentionally racist thing I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But that show is about a kid, not really a kid, like a teenager. Like he's basically a stoner. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
A stoner who is somehow
Hey, Carson!
Carson's on the show.
Hooray!
Yeah.
So you've come on the show and you couldn't even be bothered to have a haircut. You little not hipster person. Yeah. We're talking about the pilots, buddy.
Pilots. Those are good.
Yep.
Did you see them?
You know, John Travolta's a pilot.
We made the Cartoon Network pilots.
No, I haven't, actually.
They're only 10 minutes long, so if you want to check them out, you can quickly just look them up
You
online.
could check out like 2 minutes of them each, really. I mean, to be honest, they're all not very good.
I mean, the only one that was like slightly decent was probably 12 Forever, but even then, it wasn't like anything really amazing. And Jammers was borderline unwatchable, to be perfectly honest.
Well, okay. Just for Carson's sake, I'll just go over them again.
Okay.
So Carson, you'll be able to like follow along. So 13 Forever, it's about a boy and a girl at school, and this girl has this magic key that can make them go into the imagination of the girl, but the stuff can cross over a little bit, whatever. Riding with Burgess is about literally he's pretty much a stoner, like. A corned beef sandwich was a plot point. right? And he has accidentally made the galactic ambassador of Earth and has to do all this stuff. And it's like, oh, but well, he's not a stoner, but he basically is a stoner. If you just watch like 5 seconds of it, like, yeah, man, I'm gonna play some
Great.
music. Yeah, and then Jammers is another thing about school, I think. I mean, it's kind of like, imagine like Rugrats, but the Rugrats High School one,
Oh,
but
all
the
grown up.
animation was still that weird, and it was even weirder, and then there was weird, surreal jokes. That was like a bad Adult Swim cartoon. Yeah, we'll get into it. So, which one was your favourite one, and which one was your least favourite one?
Favorite was probably 12 Forever, because that was the only one that actually had some semblance of pacing and actually had potential to be a good show. And my least favorite was easily Jammers, and basically the other two, kind of, because, dear God, both of these pilots represent literally everything I hate about modern television, and just comedy in general. And I mean everything. Lack of practically no pacing, no punchline, no build up. There is nothing. Just downright nothing.
Carson's just dropped out for some reason. I'll
Oy.
find out. Proto, what about you, man?
12 Forever, worth both of them. The other two. I'm going to detail when we talk about all of them about one by one.
Okay, that's good. That's a good plan. I don't, because for me, like, I didn't really hate any of them. I didn't really like any of them much. So it's kind of like giving a little first place prize to a bunch of children who have each made a cake, and they're all shit for one reason or another. Like, one's overcooked, one's undercooked, one's been dropped on the floor, one's been licked. You know, they all kind of they all kind of got like they all kind of suck, really. I'm gonna say my least favorite was 12 Forever, and I'll give my reasons for that when we get onto each show. And my favorite one was Jammers.
Oh, okay, that's it. I am coming down to Britain and murdering you.
When we get to each one, I'll explain it. So let's do 12 Forever first. So 12 Forever is by, I guess it's the creator is called Julia Vickerman, and she is currently a storyboard artist at the new Powerpuff Girls cartoon, apparently.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure what else she's done.
They say she's fine as hell.
I don't know, she's done like bits and bobs. I don't know what, like, there's no IMDb page as far as I can see. Oh wait, there is, sorry. I'm just having a list. I think she worked on the character designs for Community, the G.I. Jeff animated episode. Yo Yabba Gabba.
Oh, I know that show. Oh, I know that show.
She did the animation for Super, which is an amazing film. I really like that.
Oh, I love that film.
She did some animation for the Drawn Together movie and Mystery Science Theater 3000 animated.
Oh, wow.
So she's done bits and bobs. She's acted a little bit as well. So like this pilot would be like her big break.
Oh, okay.
As you would. Yeah, so 12 Forever, like, good stuff. What do we like, guys? What did we like?
I actually like the premise to a fair bit, because it kind of, like I said earlier, it kind of had a very Foster's vibe to it. I don't know if anyone's has heard of this show or even seen it, but the design and the animation kind of reminded me of the Disney show The Replacements, and even the main character looked suspiciously exactly like one of the main characters from that show. But I actually really like the design and animation, and I think the voice acting is actually pretty decent, and there are a couple funny jokes in the mix, and I feel like overall it has it has potential, but it's not like a drop dead amazing pilot. That's what I gotta say.
Okay.
Pro?
Yeah, yeah. I like the animation. I like that everything look as creative as Adventure Time was once did before. You know what?
Yeah.
But yeah, but the colors that were starting to bugging me for somehow. But that's just a nitpick. The characters were not drop dead amazing, but they were still do the job. Yeah, and the concept could become a good show with the right cards. I just I just like what they were trying to do if they were given more time and more and something to work with.
Okay. Um. Hold on a minute.
Okay, take your time.
Yeah. So what I liked about it, um, was I agree with George. I think the voice acting was decent. I thought the imagination world was mildly intriguing. There could be some cool, fun stuff with that.
Yeah.
I think character designs are decent. They're okay.
Yeah.
You know, I like the girl. The girl's design is like quite kind of 90s and stuff. It's like
Yeah,
okay.
I got like a very like early late 90s, early 2000s Disney Channel vibe, animation vibe from her, to be perfectly honest. Like, the
Yeah.
whole show kind of had that vibe, if you know what I mean.
And it was mildly entertaining. I mean, that's all I can really say. I mean, like with the negatives, like you know, my problem, which is the same as the other shows, really, is just that they're just not good enough. Like they're not their own. I mean, yeah, it's only the pilots. There's only so much they could do, but they're just they don't have a lot of personality. Like especially the animation.
Yeah.
Like the animation is dull.
Yeah.
It's really generic. It's really boring. It's something that you haven't seen before. That holds it back. But a flaw specific to this show is the imagination itself. Like, the show didn't really make any rules, but if everything's just in her imagination, then where is the tension? You know, what bad stuff can happen to me if it's not real?
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
You know, I mean, if they had said like what happens in the imagination, like, you know, if you get killed there, then you're dead, then fine. But like the way it was described was like they're basically gods in her imagination,
Pretty
and they can
much.
do anything. So like, where is the tension? Where is
Yeah.
it? Like, it didn't make sense. Like, why didn't she just turn the baby back into the teenage self?
I don't know.
You know, it's in her imagination. The
Or-
witch thing. Why
Or
didn't you
is
just
it? Okay, I'll just stop.
Why didn't she just explode that witch person into like a million bits instantly? Like, because the show didn't take time to establish the rules.
Well, I think that's kind of the problem with like a lot of these kind of Cartoon Network design shows. Like, again, pilots are hard to do. Like when you're given like this kind of level of time to work with. Like a pilot works best when it has like a lot of time to work with and establish stuff. I think one of the better pilots was. I'm trying to think of a really good pilot. I think
The modifiers.
Oh yeah, that's a good example. That's a great example of how to do a good pilot. I still can't believe they let that show drop. Anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, like the regular show pilot was. You know, it doesn't establish like you don't need to establish everything. Just enough to follow and be like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
the show operates like this. While
Yeah.
12 Forever doesn't at all. Like,
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I know it's only 10 minutes, but like, what if they made the... yeah, I know they wanted to show they wanted to show it in fifth gear, basically, yeah. But
Yeah.
like, you know, like if I was making it, I'd make it so like these two people have only just met, and
Yeah.
that, you know, so like, you know, the boy is basically us, and he learns the rules through her.
Yeah. Well, that's basic storytelling 101 when you're dealing with fantasy.
Exactly, and if you want the plot to move quick, you can make this person very enthusiastic about it, very easygoing about it, and then,
Yeah.
you know, that's how you get the plot moving quick, right? You only need conflict. Well, I mean, yeah, you always need conflict, but conflict between these two main characters, you only really need like to add more story, and I know in 10 minutes you don't necessarily need that, especially for this one. So
Yeah.
yeah. What did you guys not like about it?
I honestly, this is actually the biggest problem I have with all the pilots, to be honest, is that the pacing is just way too fucking fast. Like, for me, pacing is a big thing when it comes to, like, any kind of story. Like, if something's too fast, I feel like I'm gonna get a headache. If something's too slow, I get really fucking bored. I think a good example of how to handle pacing is, I don't really know how to actually what a good example of that, but I really feel like all three of the pilots feel it's honestly a big this is probably why I gave up a lot on like some of these shows like Cartoon Network, Disney Channel, and even Nick for a certain extent, is that I really, whenever I see an 11-minute show, if it's like something like, if it's something simple like an episode of SpongeBob or like some shit like Breadwinners or something where it's just like 11 minutes but it's like a simple idea and they just spread it out that long, that's fine. But when it's something like Adventure Time, Steven Universe, and this, it's hard to really establish like everything. Like you say, it's hard to establish everything within that kind of small time period. Honestly, I feel like if this was like 5 minutes longer, I feel like it would have been perfect. But because they had to rush through like a lot of this to make the pilot and available for general audiences, not just general audiences, like the Cartoon Network's audience, I get that, but still, it annoys me.
Yeah.
Fair enough. What about you, Proto, man?
Yeah, that is one of the aspects I really hate from Cartoon Network right now, because after Adventure Time came and established that fucking 10-minute slot, pretty much CNN dropped any show that got any 22-minute time because either A, they don't see the point anymore, or B, they're just too fucking cheap for it. But that was my big problem with this. This, like Gio said, the pace went too fucking fast, and there were a lot of things that they should explain more, with more detail, because it's really not the what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, conclusive.
Cohesive.
Yeah, thank you. Because it's really like Jack said, it should really be a conflict that should separate the characters and what drives the story or the plot. Because right now I wish the plot was just them meeting and entering this world.
I mean, I don't know how you guys. I don't think you guys like it very much, but
I actually like it. I like it.
No, I mean, I was gonna.
I'll continue, man.
Sorry, I was gonna suggest another example. Like, at least with Star versus the Forces of Evil, you know, you got the main character, whatever his name is, with the red hoodie. At least you have him from our perspective at the start, where like he's asking the questions, he's surprised, you know, he's in our shoes, you know, like he doesn't know what's going on at first, like us.
God, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but you're right. That show does get it right, fairly right to a certain extent, but still, I feel like that show is god awful. And
I mean, to be honest,
I do see where you're going.
I mean, to be honest, like 12 Forever is very, very much like the Force of Evil. The difference is, Star it looks better, and it's more confident in what it wants to be. Like, even if you don't like it, you know, it's a professionally made show.
Yeah.
You know, even if you think it's shit, whatever, it is a professionally made show. I mean, like, again, like, if a pilot's a pilot,
Oh, hey,
yeah, a
Rick.
pilot's going to be pretty weak. But
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Ryga, do you want any input onto? We're just doing the pilots, and the first one we just finished talking about 12 Forever.
Mhm.
Do you have any thoughts about it, like very quickly?
Well, I've actually reviewed 12 Forever before. I actually told you guys, I think about several weeks ago, that I actually did 2 reviews. One is I actually watched it by myself, and the other with my niece and nephew because they're the target audience. And of all the pilots that we've seen, we both actually love 12 Forever, mainly because number one, all of us actually love the character of Reggie because she's not your typical girl character there. She's actually more boyish in a sense, and we also like the idea that of her, a world that she created out of her own imagination. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the series called Chalk Zone.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
So it's basically it has a similar premise, and
That's the show it was reminding me of so much. Oh my god, why did it take me so long to realize that?
yeah, it's very similar to Chalk Zone in a way, or Peter Pan if you're not familiar with Chalk Zone, and the only difference is that everything is created out of her imagination. So, which seems to imply that includes the Butt Witch, which is her creation as well. They also love Shane and the way he transforms as part of that, which they find it very, very funny. I personally, like you guys said, it does have a Star versus the Force of Evil feel into it, and a little bit of Steven Universe, considering that its creator actually worked on some of the shows in Cartoon Network, and she also did Yo Gabba Gabba, Julia Vickerman. So everything that you see with the CN originals and Star, you can see it here in 12 Forever, guys.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
Yeah, that's some good points there, to be honest.
Damn
Okay, so moving on. Yeah.
You wanted to bring something, Ryoga, about this because you said the day that you brought this pilot in particular that some weird shit happened with the main villain. Go on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it's because of that the main villain is basically there's been like a huge discussion because of all the characters here. From the way I look at the forums and the message boards, everybody loved the Butt Witch. In part because of who played that. I forgot. He's a British comedian. What's his name?
I know who you mean. He basically became famous through the IT crowd.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I forgot what his name was, but I don't know. But that's part of his popularity there, and. He does resemble him from the Powerpuff Girls, if you guys notice.
Yeah.
Of this femboy that, and the fact that she the Butt Witch, I can't say whether it's a she or a he because of her voice, but either way, the Butt Witch does. They're saying the Butt Witch represents Reggie's repressed puberty, since Reggie does want to stay as young as she wants to, even though she's basically a teenager now. But that's why the premise is her being 12.
Oh.
So the Butt Witch, some are saying that the Butt Witch is basically, how do I say this without offending anyone, is basically what Reggie would supposed to be if she allowed herself to grow up. So you can, in a way, her physique is basically what Reggie would have been if she gets older, and the way she moves and graces, it's pretty much a girl thing, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the that's the idea of the butt witch here.
Matt Berry, by the way.
So
Sorry, Matt Berry's the voice actor.
yeah, berries. So so when you think about it, if this is to be a miniseries, the butt witch will likely play a major role in which she would have to tell 12 at some point. She can't stay 12 forever. She has to grow up. So it's already a foreshadowing there in a sense.
Mm.
Plus the fact there's a lot of Rule 34s of her.
Yeah.
Raping the orgy.
Come on! Why is there Rule 33 for everything? And I mean literally everything.
Which is exactly what Rule 34 is. It's basically everything.
Oh
If
God!
you've seen it, there is definitely a Rule 34 of it. No questions asked.
Oh God! Thanks. Now my brain is filled with horrifying images. Thanks a lot, Ryoga. Ah! I gotta take a shower of holy water after this.
Well, you better make it two because there's actually a friend of mine. A friend of mine actually posted the face of a picture that's supposed to be of Rule 34 or fucking Inside Out.
Ah! Ah! Ah!
Enjoy the July 4th weekend.
Oh God! There goes my entire weekend. Thanks a lot.
Ah.
Okay, now when we move on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. So the next one we're going to talk about, Raiden with Burgess.
The most racist thing I think I've seen all year.
Okay. We'll get to that in a second. So Raiden with Burgess. I've already said what it's about. So stoner hippie. It sounds weird saying about a Cartoon Network show, but that's what he is. Becomes the galactic ambassador for Earth, has to keep battles, all sorts of shit. You know exactly what I mean. And it's by Andres Salef, who's known for he's done some storyboard work for regular show. Biggest thing. And also he's been a supervising director on Adventure Time for some episodes. Apparently he's done some voices for Harvey Beaks as well.
Oh wow!
And even regular show. So I think he voices Princess.
Oh wow!
All right.
Okay, yeah. So what did we like with Burgess?
I like the animation, and that's about it.
Nothing.
What?
Absolutely nothing.
No, you said it wrong, Gene. It's nothing! Absolutely nothing!
I'm very much with you on this one. Only the animation because we saw the worst from the best. So that's a huge bias on me. But whatever.
I mean, again, like it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's about 50 miles from the best thing I've ever seen. So, I thought, well, good stuff. Like, we'll start with the good stuff first.
Okay.
There's nothing good about Riding with Burgess.
Okay, the animation is slightly decent, and like it's better than most. It's probably the one that resembles like a semblance of a decent animation of the show, and actually looks a tiny bit interesting from the rest of them. But even then, good God, the character designs and what they do and what they look like, and is some of the I don't even have the words to describe it.
Way until the worst.
I mean, okay, you could probably say add the fact that it is the most diverse cast in the show. You got a white slacker, a brown DJ, a English secretary, and a Latino who speaks like a chipmunk. That's the closest thing of having the most diverse cast in the show. But that basically doesn't help with the fact that show is awful. Well, except my nephew, because my nephew loved Burgess in the fact that he raps a lot because he's into hip hop, so he likes him. But
Okay.
Deep down, when you think about it, it's basically regular show in space,
Yeah.
and that is a bad rendition of it.
Yeah, I
it's racist
agree.
beyond belief.
Right, George, why is it racist? I'm intrigued.
Okay, first off, am I the only one who found it kind of off that the only white guy in the entire thing is like this represents like white people in the sense that like we're all like stoner, laid back, for lack of a better word, retards, and every other member of the cast is completely black. Like I have nothing against a completely black cast. Nothing against them. I love black people. Wow. I'm so sorry that came out so wrong, but I'm fine with that. But the way they represent it is so stereotypical that I honestly felt dirty watching it.
Like, what do you mean by stereotypical? Like, I suppose the little Mexican.
Just look at them. Look at this. This is the epitome of stereotypical design of black people.
Well,
Think about it. Like they rap. They have like this they have afros and shit. They're all like they kind of gangsterish, I guess. And the way they look at, they're like the only representation. They're all like smart people in the entire freaking pilot. But God.
well, what do you mean they rap? Like,
I know. I mean like they play like typical like stereotypical black people music. You know what I mean?
well,
I'm not saying it's stereotypical like that.
Huh?
well,
What I'm saying is so. God, I need to stop talking.
yeah, but it's at Burgess's request. Like,
Which makes it even worse because this means
Not really.
that's the view of black people.
well, no, like if you watched it more closely, like the black guy, well, the one in the wheelchair thing, like he was playing like some classical music, and then Burgess was like, no, play some rap, dog.
God.
It's still a stereotype, man. It is
It's funny,
still.
isn't it?
Yeah, but it's more Burgess forcing his own musical taste onto other people. That's all.
Well, that's practically it. Is that the biggest problem with this show is basically Burgess himself. He's just not that a likable protagonist.
No,
No,
he's
not at all.
No.
I mean, yeah. He's very similar to Mordecai and Rigby, in which they're both slackers. But Mordecai and Rigby, they balance it out with Mordecai being a slightly more responsible of the two, and the fact that they are basically very likable slackers. But Burgess is anything but.
Like,
In a way, you compare him to like Sanjay and Craig from Nickelodeon. They're also slackers, and they're also just unlikable. Period.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bad stuff. The plot is shit. It makes no sense.
Biggest understatement of the fucking year.
Like, how do you accidentally get made ambassador?
Exactly. That's like me.
Exactly.
That's like me accidentally becoming the president of the earth.
It wasn't explained.
Problem with it.
It wasn't explained. Like, if they explained it like his dad was an ambassador, and then that's how he got elected or something.
They should have removed it from the list immediately. This is not political sunset. This is common fucking sense.
Oh God. Jesus Christ on Broadway. What were they thinking?
And it is
Oh
pretty.
wait, they weren't.
And they got like the whitest guy they could to represent Earth. Like, okay.
Pretty fucking much.
Like,
Like he makes you look black. Oh God! Wow, did I really just say that? My apologies.
well, it's fine. Like, I don't know. Like, again, like, it's the same thing what I said about the other shows. Like, the animation isn't good. The character designs are only like that's what I mean. The best thing about the show is only okay.
Yeah.
It's whatever, and that
Yeah.
shouldn't really be what you look for in a pilot. Like, there should be one thing where it's like, okay, at least
Exactly.
one thing. Like, the animation doesn't have to be amazing,
Yeah.
but
Just at least you have something worth like talking about in that regard.
exactly, and like Ryan with Burgess, he's not very I liked him more at the end, but he's not a very likable character.
No.
The story was boring
And shit.
and predictable.
And shit.
And generic.
And generic.
Yeah.
And questionably racist. I still stand by that.
And it didn't make any sense. Again, like, I know the guy's a prince, but if he's part of an intergalactic council and he murders another ambassador, that's fucking war.
Exactly.
Or at least kicked out of the council. You can't murder other ambassadors.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And like, it just wasn't good. You know, it wasn't
Yeah.
very clear what it wanted to be. It wasn't very strong, like, in terms of its personality or anything. It was just a weak pilot.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. It's weak.
I think you could say that for actually all the pilots, to be honest.
Yeah, they're all weak, really.
Yeah. Rio, anything else before we move on?
No, it's just that, like I said, so it is basically the least favorite of all the pilots. Even my niece and nephew, well, except my nephew, they all agree. So, moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah. Alright, the last pilot, which I said controversially was my favourite, and I'll get around to saying that, saying why. It's called Jammers, and it was made by a woman called Liz Hickey. I assume it's a woman.
Yeah, it's a woman.
What is she famous for? Oh, that's it.
Character there.
She's famous for being an animator and crew member on BuzzFeed, apparently.
BuzzFeed?
I know, right? And Cartoon Network contacted her to ask her to make a pilot, and this is it. Apparently she also worked alongside Uncle Grandpa's creative director, Casey Alexander,
Oh, now it makes
for
sense.
writing the storyboarding. I think they worked. She worked with him or her, whatever, on this show. So, and it's about a middle school girl named Carol, voiced by Hickey herself,
Mm-hmm.
with her two best friends, Jeremy and Danny, and they form a trio called Jammers. Don't know fucking why. And then there's all this surreal humor and stuff, which is basically like a bad Adult Swim pilot.
It's like Ren and Stimpy meets Johnny Test, basically.
Which is funny because a few years later,
It's way beyond that.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, apparently, she's also doing a pilot with Adult Swim called Dolby Fried.
I don't even want to know what that's going to be like.
So
Neither do I.
You know, the pieces of the puzzle are starting to match up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say why this was my favourite one.
Because you're an uncultured swine!
It's my favourite, not because it's good, because it's shit. Technically, it's the shittest one, but it made me laugh the most out of the three in terms of its what the fuckery, like what the fuck's going on, and I remember it the best out of the three. So it stayed, it was the most memorable, and therefore my favourite. Like, I could tell you more.
That logic.
I could tell you more about this one than what happened in the other two combined. You know, I mean, it's
So you're basically like the scene
I forgot this one guy. He's asking his best friend inside the men's room to make him a date. And he said, okay, I'll do it. I'll make one out of my fart. And he actually made one.
Yeah, but it's fuck. It's stupid. It's like, what the fuck? What logic does the show follow? There isn't
None.
any.
Nah, there
it's
is
random.
no
And there's even the ending where then the two guys say, I love you so much. And the guy transforms to a toilet. Please, come on, sit on me. Sit on me. It's like,
That's what I mean. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not a like. It's easily the ugliest show.
Oh god, this show made me physically ill watching it.
Same. Like when she had the zit and it like all zoomed in.
Ah!
Like
I hate Girls Out Here so much.
it's not. It's just a bunch of things that like I can relate to, but not in a way I want to relate to. Like spots. Like I have spots, but I don't want to see it on the TV. It's not something like I want to see. Maybe there's some like spot activists that like it's okay to have acne. We need more TV shows where characters have acne and talk about their acne, and acne is a thing to be celebrated. It's like no, it's not. Acne,
I have acne.
acne's
Here, I'll
bad.
show you. I'll show you right now. Right here. See for yourself. See. Ha!
You got a lot of spots on your bum there, George. Oh, that was your face. Sorry.
I will murder you one day.
Gotcha.
well, granted, to be honest, when I actually did talk to you guys about this together on this podcast, that I personally, it was just crude and awful. But I was surprised when I showed it to my niece and nephew. They actually loved it. It's one of their favorites.
Okay. Tell me your niece and nephew's names, because I'm hiring a hitman to kill them. Sorry, but it needs to be done.
But I'm not kidding. So I'm surprised that they loved the crude humor. So when I realized how much they loved it, that made me think twice of shows like Uncle Grandpa and Teen Titans Go, considering everybody hates those shows. But the fact of the matter is, it's quite popular. And I did discuss you guys in the Facebook that I was gathering some ratings data about how all these shows were doing, and I am so surprised that well to make long story short, when the Cartoon Network was promoting Teen Titans Go as your new favorite show, there is a valid reason for that.
Oh god.
And the numbers don't lie. A lot of people watch Teen Titans Go. Even more so than Steven Universe, even more so than Adventure Time, even more so than pretty much everything else. So that's basically their top show. So that made me think about Uncle Grandpa as well, because Uncle Grandpa's also getting new numbers. Even, regardless how disgusting some people think about it, the fact is, kids particular eat it up really, really good. And Jammers,
Kids are fucking stupid.
I mean, the numbers don't lie, my friend. I mean, I was planning to actually present it over for probably tonight or tomorrow because I just got too busy about the numbers. But I'm serious. If it's disgusting, people will go for it. We could probably blame it on SpongeBob, I guess, since SpongeBob did that, and Ren and Stimpy, and I don't know what other shows that provide crude humor, which is probably why Nick is pretty much pushing that kind of thing with Breadwinners, Sanjay and Craig, and now Pig Goat something Cricket.
Like
It's also the humor SpongeBob is.
I get like why like they like gross out humor stuff, and that's fair enough. Like Ren and Stimpy is amazing, but the problem like with this show and similar shows is that it's too much. Like the
It doesn't
actual
space it out, is what you're trying to say.
the actual character is like it's ugly the entire way through it. Like the character designs are ugly, like pencil thin and not quite drawn right. For some reason, they have like lizard eyes.
Whereas in like something like Ren and Stimpy, like some of the character designs at times look normal, but then all of a sudden they just turn to like this surreal nonsense just happens. I think a good example would probably be like the Stimpy's Invention episode, which is one of the first I saw of the show.
And that's what makes it work. It's like you're watching it, and it's kind of like watching an old, Warner Brothers Disney cartoon, whatever. And then all this stuff happens. That's why it's funny. Like with this, like seeing people like constantly sweat and have greasy hair and shit on each other. Like it's not that you need pacing. Like you need respite from gross out surreal humor, and this doesn't let up. It's just fucking weird the whole way through. It's badly made.
And another thing that surprises me is that normally this kind of crude humor show would be done by someone of the likes of Trey Parker and Matt Stone from South Park, but it's not. It's done by a woman of all people. I don't ever recall a female writer doing this kind of humor in any form of comedy. Not that I know of, at least. So that's another thing that makes Jammers a bit unique. That you have this woman writing this show with a humor that's perhaps on the level of Adult Swim, but for kids, and she's doing it quite well. So I have to give props to Liz Hickey. As disgusting as it is, what she did, that's pretty much something you don't see every day.
True, I guess.
So what do you guys think about Jammers then? I know George got some opinions on it.
Full disclosure, I have nothing against gross out humor. When done right, it can be really funny. See Ren and Stimpy or something else I can't think of. But to me, the show was like, it basically represents everything I hate about. Again, like everything I hate about modern comedy, like most modern comedies nowadays, not just in TV, like in general. Like there's no build up, there's no context, there's no sense of like, there's no punchline basically. It's just random shit happening for the sake of random shit. Random shit is funny when it happens in like a straight environment. I think a great example would probably be again Ren and Stimpy or old SpongeBob or I don't know, something like just randomness happens, but it's played off like a straight world. Like if it's just randomness constantly happening around you, and there's no like straight man playing off of the randomness, then that's not funny. It's like you would have to be really, you have to try really, really hard to really fix that. I'm trying to figure out a good example of like someone that actually did that really well, but I can't really think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Alright.
What about you, Price, man? What did you think about it?
2 middle fingers to the crew. I just don't. Watching this, it felt like a chore.
Yeah.
It felt like it was like in my shittiest day working. I was not enjoying it at all. And that's bad, considering if you know me, because if I watch something, I watch something that to impress me, to make me see what was the reason why they even greenlighted in the first place. I didn't see nothing in this. I told this to Gio in a private chat and told him this. I don't know if CNN were high or full of themselves when they greenlighted this.
And I responded, or both, because that honestly make a lot of sense to me.
This is one of the worst animation pieces I have seen in my entire life.
Same.
The script sucks, the animation sucks, the character sucks. Not even the comedy works, for fuck's sake.
No. I disagree, Proto. It's not the worst animated series.
He said it's one of the worst, not the worst.
One of the worst. Nah, there's pretty much I've seen actually a full of things that are way worse than this. I mean, to the show's credit, yeah, when I made my review, I did give it a 1, but to the show's credit, it is still watchable compared to the other shows Cartoon Network gave out. I would simply name one: Problem Solvers.
Haven't
And
seen it, don't care for it.
I've seen it.
Those were indeed terrible. It's completely unwatchable. I'm surprised it managed to last long, but it was just plain unwatchable. But Jammers, as crude as it is, it's tolerable for the most. I mean, if I were to watch between Jammers and Riding with Burgess, I would go with Jammers over Burgess. Because Burgess just bores me to death.
I agree.
As crude as it is, at least it's something that'll keep my eyes glued in and make me reaction, but at least I'll watch the whole through. So that's what I would do. Guys?
Yeah, I concur, mate.
I'd rather watch something great than those two. Let me rephrase what I said earlier. Riding with Burgess and this one are two of the worst pieces of animation I have seen. Emphasis in I. Emphasis in I. Because there's nothing that showed to me that those pieces deserve to be aired or greenlighted in the first place.
Well, I do have some news for you guys.
But yeah, that's just me, guys.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I do have some news for you guys who haven't heard of it. Julia Vickerman, the creator of 12 Forever, did make an announcement on her Tumblr that her short is nominated for this year's Emmys for Best Animated Shorts Program.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
So
But it wasn't that good.
So that is a very high indication that Cartoon Network may order her series. Even more if she wins, if that show wins it, because this is exactly the same. This is exactly the same scenario Dexter's Laboratory got their gig.
Really?
Dexter first came out as a short. It won an award. I don't know if it's an Emmy or an Oscar, but either way, that shortly after that, the show was greenlit to a full series. So we now seeing a very similar scenario here with 12 Forever. So
what's the name of that award again?
the Emmys.
No, as in like the award, like best animated.
Best short program.
But
Best
there's
animated
no.
short program.
That's ridiculous. Like, what about Adventure Time, regular show, even Star vs. the Forces of Evil or Clarence? Like,
I don't know.
what the fuck?
I still haven't gotten the I think we're supposed to get the nominees sometime this month. I'm not sure what date, but definitely it's from the horse's mouth. Her short is pretty much nominated, so that's something that's quite surprising.
That's
Damn.
stupid. It doesn't deserve to win that.
Yeah, you don't call the shots here,
I'd
Mike.
rather have something that was at least passively written and passively made than have something completely and utterly awful like the last two pilots win something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so if one of these shows were to get picked up, which would you choose?
12 Forever.
Sorry, mate. But that's definitely a show that's definitely more than likely gonna get picked up.
Good.
Considering the situation that's happening right now.
I mean, to be honest, out of all of them, 12 Forever has the most potential to be a show, so I'd say 12 Forever as well. But as just as pilots, I'd say Jammers was the best one.
Actually,
I'm just a hitman
if any of these shows were to be picked up, it's not any of them. It's actually one from last year, Back to Backspace. I assume you guys have seen that one.
I have not.
It's a short from last year, but it was re-released along with the other shorts. I didn't bother reviewing it because it's last year's show. It's basically about you guys are familiar with Reboot, right? So
I
it's similar in the sense where this girl named Patty. She's in this world where every idea gets deleted by a computer, and she tries to give them therapy to go back to the real world to become bright ideas, or shred them completely. So it's an adventure in this strange digitized world, and she's the only human around. And it has an Adventure Time feel to it, but done in the style of reboot. And it does have a good potential to be a series. So if I were to choose, besides 12 Forever, I would definitely pick Back to Backspace.
Okay.
all right.
I'll check it out then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice. I think that concludes the show then. So stay tuned. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Right then.
I didn't really do that. There you go.
Yeah.
Right. This has been a
Yeah,
Mark Tunes podcast, and we'll see you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Stay tuned.
Or should I say, stay tuned?
Or should I say, stay away from me?
uh,
I'm gonna get a fucking sniper after you, man.
I'm sending a hunter after you.
I'm gonna send Aditya Sarkeesian after you.
I
Okay,
don't
no, too far. Too far.
I'll stop her. She gets on my house immediately.
I'm sending
Alright.
my Bloodborne character after you.
All right. See you guys later.
See ya.
Alright, see ya.
See ya.